Hey everyone, it's Maxwell Liu. I'm an officer from the ATR team, and today I will be explaining about predicting tennis match outcomes using my ELO rating system that is used for the ATR Summer Ladder. So, why predict tennis outcomes? So many people want to play matches either recreationally or competitively, and predicting tennis outcomes would be good for future references and also to look back at previous results in many matches over a certain period of time. And using a real ELO rating system, which I'll get to later, is essential for this and very stable. We would want to calculate the win probability and updating ELO scores to predict future scores and also um, from old results and look back at what we want to improve on. So why predict tennis outcomes? We tracking player performance trends over time is important. Um, we would want to update rankings after each match, so players could see their improvement or what they need to improve on, and also create balanced matchups for tournaments and trainings through different tiers of play, and also support strategic planning and coaching depending on the level of play. So, what is the ELO rating system? This system was created for chess originally, and it's also widely applied now in tennis, football, and esports. It's used to calculate and update relative skill levels after each match, and also help predict outcomes in the future, and also rank players fairly in different competitions and also recreational purposes whatsoever. So the basic ELO formula is each player has a rating. The default could be 5. We could set it to another default. But the expected win probability for player A against player B is E of A, which is the probability of winning percentage of player A. And this would be 1 over 1 plus 10 to the power of R of B minus R of A. And R of B is the rating of player B, and R of A is rating of player A before they both started playing. So as an example, we can see that player A has a rating of 5.5 and player B's rating is 5. So to calculate the probability of winning for player A, we can use the formula from the left, 1 over 1 plus 10 to the R of B, this being rating of player B this time, and 5 is the rating of player B, so we can use 5 for R of B, and player A's rating is 5.5 before the match, so we can do 5 minus 5.5, and this would get us 0.76, which converts to a 76% chance of player A winning. And to calculate player B's percentage of winning, we can just subtract 0.76 from 1, and we can get 0.24, which is a 24% chance of winning for player B. So by adjusting ratings, we can use the formula R prime of A, which is the new rating after the match is ended for player A. And R of A represents the rating originally, which was 5.5, as we can see here, player A. So um, we can also use S of A in this formula. And S of A is the score-based performance for player A. And this would mean A score is like how many games um, player A wins during the match. And we can use B score too in this formula, where B score being how many games player B has won this in his match or her match against player A. So S of A is equal to A score over all divided by A score plus B score. And for the score-based performance for player B, it would be B score over A score plus B score. I'll show you an example later. So K is also a constant that we need to multiply in this formula because it's used to determine sensitivity and also changes in ratings over time. And I tested it out, and 1 right now is a good starting point um, because it's stable and also provides solid ratings. So an example is, as said previously, player A's rating 5.5, player B's rating is 5. Uh, I gone over that. I've gone over that player A has a 76% chance of winning, and player B has a 24% chance of winning. And let's say that player A wins the match 6-2 in a set against player B. So player A won 6 games, player B won 2. And we can use the score-based performance of player A, where I said previously A score over A score plus B score. And since player A won 6 games in this match, we can use 6 for A score and B for 2 score. I mean, and 2 for B score. So it would be 6 over 6 plus 2. So that means the score-based performance for player A is 0.75. And over here in player B's score-based performance, we can use B score divided by A score plus B score. And since player B won 2, that would be 2 over 6 plus 2, so 0.25. And we can use the formula to find the updated ratings after the match. So from this formula, and since we found score-based and also the expected, which is on the top of the screen here, 0.76 for player A, we can see that the updated rating are 5.49 for player A, and the updated ranking for um, player B is 5.01. And we can notice that player A's rating actually dropped just a tiny bit because 6-2 in player one's favor was actually not as good as the expected result. So if player A won like 6-1, then their rating would probably increase from 5.5. And we can see that player B, even though they lost 2-6, they still gained 0.01 points because they won enough points to fulfill the expected outcome requirement. And here's another example. Same expected probability for player A being 76% and 24% chance for player B. But this time, player A lost 4-6. So in this case, we can see that the score-based is using the same formula, but the score-based performance for player A would be 0.4, and the score-based performance for player 2 or player B is 0.6. And using the formula, R of A plus K times S of A minus E of A, we can see that the updated ranking for player A is 5.14, and the updated rating for player B is 5.36. So since player B won, even though it was very close, player B gained a lot of points. Since player B was the underdog, their rating being less than player A before the match. So they ended up with a 5.36 rating, and player A dropped below player B with a rating of 5.14. So this ELO model accounts for how many games they've won, not only just pure win or loss result. So here we can see the visualization of the rating changes from previous results. So we can see match ID from this game played March 22nd, 2025. We can see the player names, the match ID, and the set score. So we can see Lawrence beat TJ 6-3 at the top. And this was their old rating. So Lawrence's rating was 4.97 and TJ's rating was 5 before they played. And Lawrence originally had a 48% chance of winning, but also 48% chance. I'm sorry, no, 48%. So they were predicted to win 48% of the games played, and TJ was predicted to win 52% of the games played. The result was Lawrence winning 67% of the games and TJ winning 33% of the games. So this led to a change in the ATR rating from the model, and we can see that Lawrence gained 0.19 points. So his new rating would be 5.15, and TJ's new rating dropped 0.19 and led to be 4.81. And for current ratings on the right side column, these are players, and we will be using the most updated ratings. If, for example, someone played 5 matches, then we would only include the current rating, which is the rating after they played all 5 matches being calculated. So we would have a separate sheet for all of the matches and the change in results, and then we would have another sheet being just the current ratings of all of the registered players. So some key takeaways is that ELO is intuitive, adaptive, and also quite powerful for player rankings. predicts win-loss probabilities dynamically and also in a very sophisticated way. So ratings would update after every match based on any outcome that is presented. And we can use different K values for top versus lower ranked players in the future to determine sensitivity and also factor in match surfaces possibly. And also we could include margin of victories and also visualize rating trends, which I'm working on right now. Okay, thank you guys.